My name is Tomlinson. I'm from Liverpool and I'm in the film game. But I've always been interested in films because as a young child, one of our Saturday treats was to go to the movies. Sometimes we used to go to the local matinee, which was at the Everton cinema, which was at the end of Everton Road. But for the special treat, because we were very, very working class, me, my three brothers, my mum and dad, we used to go for a treat on the occasional Saturday night to the Hippodrome cinema, which was at the edge of Everton Road and West Derby Road. And occasionally we go into town to the Majestic cinema, which was absolutely wonderful. That was a real big treat. But also there was local picture houses then were in abundance. I used to go to the Mere Lane cinema and to the Lytton cinema. And to get into the Lytton, if you didn't have any money, you could get in by taking 2 clean empty jam jars, and that was the entrance fee into the Lytton cinema. And people used to call them the bug houses, and they weren't. The seats weren't cushioned or fancy, but that they were comfortable. You could watch the movies. But I was a bit of an oddball because I'm probably the only lad of that age who used to go to the cinema who didn't like cowboys on a Saturday afternoon. I detested cowboy movies. I much preferred romantic stories or stories about spies or anything except cowboys. But the cinema was an integral part of your life. And even later on when I went to prison, one of the highlights of the week was a certain amount of prisoners were allowed to go to the cinema and watch the movie. And although I never went myself, I used to hear them talking about what movie they'd seen, and that would last them for a whole week till they went the following week. So you can imagine what a treat it must have been for them in them days to go to the cinema in some tiny room in a prison, or sometimes they showed them in the chapel. So cinema has always played an important part of my life. And my dad was a wonderful ballroom dancer, and they used to call him either Valentino or Fred Astaire because he was a wonderful dancer. And obviously people would only know them names and them characters by watching them on the big screen. So it was a big occasion when you went to the movies. And I don't go to the movies now because it doesn't have the same attraction for me now. There's all sorts of stereophonic sound, and the screens are 150 foot wide and 30 foot high. And to me, it'll never replace the silver screen. And as kids, it used to be wonderful going there on a Saturday afternoon and all getting in, and you'd hear them all cheering the goodies and booing the baddies. And then, of course, as we got older, that's when you started falling in love with the heroines on the screen, you know, the Yvonne Di Carlos and the people like that. And yeah, so it was a wonderful thing, and cinema played a big part, not only in my life, but in the lives of my brothers and all the young men of that age. And I'm talking now about the 1950s, obviously, when we'd be teenagers. So it was great. And I mourn the passing of the old-fashioned silver screen. Some of these movies now are wonderful, and they cost $200 million to make, or £100 million to make. Just imagine what a filmmaker like Ken Loach could do with that sort of money. A man who makes movies like Cathy Come Home, Poor Cow, Up the Junction, Rain and Stones, The Wind That Shakes the Barley. It's wonderful, and it's educating, and sometimes it actually changes the way we live, because when he made Cathy Come Home, out of that was formed Shelter. So homeless people weren't looked down upon as much as they were then. Although things being the way they are now, there's more homeless people on the streets than there ever was. But anyway, getting back to the movies, I loved the movies. And as I say, there was a million of them. There was one on every other street corner. Sadly, they're gone. And we've only got the big superdromes now. But if you like that sort of thing, well, you're in your heyday. Give me the old-fashioned silver screen.